said that.
We can't have that in.
No, that will be cut out. So
Okay.
we got arguing to do. Let's just do a quick intro. Just Dream Warriors episode returning with
Road to 51.
yeah. Or we've eclipsed. We're at 51.
Total eclipse.
We're going to hit the music because I'm sitting here with Mark, and I've done enough of my 50-point series droning on that.
For now.
Yeah, for now. So we're gonna just hit the music, and it's war. You ready for war?
We're dream worrying.
Yeah,
We're dream worrying.
because we're doing it. We're back.
And we're back.
We're back.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, and Mark's back too.
I got a notebook. There's a composition book.
It's a blue one too.
It's a blue one.
Because
We had one cancellation.
Yes.
You need one cancellation.
Yeah, that was my cancellation. And I did address this on the previous the 50
record the
episode.
cancellations.
Yeah,
Hopefully Sunday. I think Sundays are gonna work. Sundays are gonna work. It's gonna be tough for me. I gotta get home later and watch Twin Peaks, but we'll be okay.
You know who is gushing over Twin Peaks on Twitter?
No.
Rob Liefeld.
Oh.
He loves Twin Peaks.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. So you and him have something else in common other than both liking comics.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two things you guys
He loves comics.
have in common.
And
Twin
I'm
Peaks.
wearing Levi's right now.
Yeah.
Actually, I am wearing Levi's right now.
Nice. Well, you look good in them.
Thank you.
They shape your lower body.
So this
Very
is
well.
a produced show. We figured out a couple things. I've been listening to lots of Pete and I sent him a list this morning. This is kind of our process is, I'll write a bunch of stuff up and we kind of go back and forth on what makes it, what doesn't make it.
Yeah,
And it's a yay or nay and this is your
well,
show.
Yeah, so I didn't tell you this via text message because I was juggling. So, you know what, real quick, when I was in Jersey for the counter fight, I'm there with one of my female friends. And a girl that trains mixed martial arts. And so she picks me up from the train. We hang out at my friend's, lots of PBR, lots of pizza, just having fun.
The Lindenwald pickup? What's the
Yeah,
pickup?
no, they're Ashland. Yeah,
Ashland.
Yeah, so because she hates going to Lindenwald, and I don't blame her. Because Lindenwald, you may be stabbed in, you might be shanked
Part of the fun.
in that one. Yeah.
Part of the fun there.
So like we have a night there, great time, and she we're kind of ending our night and get back to her area, and I realized that I don't have my wallet. So
Convenient.
my buddy was already sleeping, who has the house that it slipped out of my pocket. Like I kind of knew what happened to it because the shorts I was wearing. So at that point I had to get dropped off to my parents. So I wake up my parents to sleep there in Jersey, and my buddy was so bombed from last night that he didn't wake up till like 11 o'clock. I was stuck in Jersey until 11 o'clock today. So when you and I were going back and forth with like everything, I glanced all your notes over real quick and just saw that you had. I think the flow you scripted was it was your best flow yet. It was more of just like, here's the beats, like this is what we're doing. I saw that, so I'm not even 100% on what you put in that. I just saw like the first two.
Right.
Like the first
Good
two,
enough.
it was like three. Yeah, it was like 3 pictures, but like even the first page. I might put this up on my Facebook page because like I love like everything here is like just awesome. This is your most coherent, but yeah. So like that's a part of the process of Dream Warriors is when Mark's here. Mark comes in. We kind of do what Mark wants, and Mark's the only one that does that because you are. You're versed, you're well researched, you contribute, and you do what I refer to as meeting me in the middle, which is huge. And Brian, who I do Bad Eats with on YouTube, does very similar with me for that show, meaning that he's as animated and aggressive about finding the right things for us to discuss. And he's in Jersey, and he different things are available in Jersey. Like Philly, it's tough to get like chocolate strawberry Oreos in Philly, but you can go to any Walmart in Jersey and see like a whole row of them. So, but we're always going back and forth about.
Many Wawas in Jersey. There's just Wawas, abundant Wawas.
Yeah, well, even I'm guaranteed right now, any Wawa in Jersey will have the new limited edition Tasty Cake caramel apple pie.
I guess
You can't get you can't get that here. It's tougher. Like you can't get it here, but I know it's in Jersey.
Right.
So, but again, like that's the whole thing with Betty. So real quick, you want to do a quick rundown of stuff you want to talk about, and then we're going to go to war.
Yeah, I mean,
because I want to fight.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is that I think that the overall the overall like kind of theme between and on our shows is that there are movies that are just out, and they're somewhat panned probably, and then you just seem to be, if they're average, you think they're a little better than average, and that makes for you, it seems to float that it makes it great for you, which I think is just crazy to me.
Yeah. Okay. So
like just as an example, like you texted me like this week, you're just like, hey, so I uncovered it wasn't as bad as everyone thought, and I was like, it doesn't mean that it's great. Like I was like, that doesn't mean that it's like it. Okay, like so, I can't do it with you. It makes me crazy.
So let me give you context into like what that message meant. It means that if I were to watch that movie with the criticisms in front of me, the criticisms as like a roadmap to what to expect from that movie, the criticisms are 100% frivolous and unfounded. It's almost, in my opinion, fraud. It's fraudulent. Because what that movie is another scenario of what people wanted Covenant to be, and it was a disaster because it was not what they envisioned.
I don't know.
100% across the board.
That's Rogue One disease. That could be my Rogue One disease argument,
it could be,
right?
Yeah. I would say it's a little bit more Matrix Reloaded. Like I go back to Matrix Reloaded a lot because you remember as much as me, like how. Like much anticipation and hype and things that were trickling out about the Matrix movies that you're like, oh my God, they're going to show Zion. Oh my God, Zion's going to be in Matrix Reloaded. Then you have like Steven Scrow like releasing shit from like Comic-Con and you get like little tidbits and it'll be like Neo is in Zion and it will be like, all right, Neo is going to be Superman. Like he's going to be able to control the Matrix inside the Matrix. So all these little things were like leaking out. And then you sit down and you watch Reloaded, and there's this thing that formulated. There's this you have this clay construction of what you want that movie to be. What you're told it is because you're reading articles, you're in like a news feed, and people are dictating the movie before anyone even sees it. And then you sit down and you cannot constructively watch that movie. So this is exactly what happened with me with Covenant. And I'll look, because I follow everything he does. Joe Rogan did a post when, it's kind of funny. Him and I like saw the movie like at the same time because he does like this Instagram post, and his Instagram post is the exact audience that movie was aimed for. So you have a vocal minority now dictating and ignoring things like intent. Like there was no intent ever discussed with Covenant, okay, and people are taking like segments from interviews, like Ridley Scott's got to sit down and talk to people. That's a part of doing like a press junket. He's got to sit down and talk. He's getting asked ridiculous questions about hypotheticals in some of these movies, and he just wants to talk about the movie he made and how he made it and the challenges about that.
Right.
None of that's even that's not even a part of modern film language or in criticism. You don't know about the difficulty of these shoots at all. People want to know, is Wonder Woman in the Batman movie? Is Wonder Woman teaming up with Ben Affleck again outside Justice League? Those are the questions they get, and that's what sucks everything up. And it's like, why are we even discussing this? Like, tell me about the movie. Tell me what went through the production of the movie. This is what made some movies, like, legendary. Like, when you know about how they made Ben-Hur and how they made Casablanca and Dog Day Afternoon and Taxi Driver. Like, you know about as much as the production of those movies than you do. Like, Legend is great because they burned down Pinewood Studios. They lost a whole warehouse, and people like lost like months of work in Legend, and they still finished that movie on time.
Right.
And you're like, damn, dude, like that makes me get into that movie a little bit deeper. Not perfect, but you're like, oh, there was like real pain in this.
Right. I like that stuff where it's like, oh, they were running out of money, or they had to do this, or like the end of Master of the Universe, like had to be shot in the dark because they had no money.
Right.
And they were like, it's just him fighting fighting Skeletor in the dark.
Yeah.
Because they told them to just stop making the movie, and they just like, no, we need to continue making this movie.
But I also thought that was like, I remember seeing that as a kid. I was like, I thought that was cool I was a kid.
Yeah, right.
And I'm just like, damn, okay. Which is why, like, I think people are fascinated with like the Roger Corman Fantastic Four.
But to go to what you're saying is that there are journalists. We're not journalists necessarily, but sort of. I mean, eventually, what happens is that if our path goes the way that most of these YouTuber paths goes, or the podcast goes, is they eventually become somewhat relevant, and then they get asked to go on these things. And then what happens is they ask some unusual question that no one would ever ask, and then that becomes a list or a listicle or an article. Like a lot of the CBR, and then the story goes viral, and then it goes this, and it's clickbait. And they're like, Ridley Scott said this in an interview after 18 hours of interviews, and he's exhausted, and he said this one thing, and then you put it into your mind and put it in the movie.
Right, and all of a sudden, it's a part of the movie, something that...
Or a preconceived notion of the movie.
Right, and
correct.
We're already seeing this building even into, like, just to connect the dots here, into Blade Runner. Where these comments he made in interviews about Blade Runner...
In 1986.
People are putting into the lore of the movie.
Right.
And you're like, what the frig? Like, okay, so, like, let me just go through this real quick. So the Joe Rogan post is Alien Covenant is the shit. Okay? I am self-admittingly a man of questionable taste in a variety of categories. Okay? But I know what I like, and I like the F word out of this movie. It's movies like this that make it very hard for my childish mind to get too excited about a movie that doesn't involve terrorizing demonic aliens that bleed acid. It was just fun. So, okay, that's the audience. Like, that is the intent of Alien Covenant. Going in and being upset that it's not a Prometheus sequel is you're sitting down and you already do not like the movie.
Right? So what I don't like about the movie...
And wait, real quick, hold that thought. This is not what we were arguing. We were just arguing. We were like, we got to record.
Right.
We're on Covenant. We're not even to what we wanted to get to yet.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe we can just power through this real quick.
I do want to get. I want
to get to our meat.
No, it's fine. I mean, the thing that I don't like about these movies, in a way, and what I mean by these movies, is just like is to a point the Rogue One's these. Rogue One. That's my episode. Go back to episode 10. Episode 10 is 2 hours of me yelling about Rogue One. Rogue One is just me going, why isn't the movie
noises.
Exactly like that? Talking about Tarkin, too much Tarkin. Is the whole point is that, and it's what you just said, was the movie that's presented what I believe is going to be the movie is not the movie I go to see. Yeah. But I almost feel like it needs to evolve differently. So Rogue One, meaning that, like, Rogue One, there was tons of stuff in the trailers that weren't in the movie, so I was expecting a different film. There's 57 shots between the multiple trailers and teasers. 57. 5-7. I'm going to say it again. I'll say it every episode.
Yeah, I don't know, like, why
it's
that's even...
unbelievable.
But I don't understand, like, why that's
unbelievable
even like, a factor. Because here's a little bit of the blowback from that, okay? We're dealing in an age where promotion is cross-platform. Meaning that we're knee deep in social media, we're knee deep in what's considered practical advertising, and we're doing things outside the box. Okay, the material needs to be used, and it needs to be. You're seeing a lot of it now with Thor Ragnarok, where there's these tweaked trailers now coming up in Japan and Europe and overseas, and they're tweaked. They're focusing on Doctor Strange or him fighting Hulk, and it's not all. I'll tell you right now. You put all those Thor Ragnarok little promotional teasers, trailers, promos together, it's not going to be in the movie. But these people have a job. They have a job to create awareness. So, but it needs to be like a variant. It needs to be a little bit different. Like, hey, this is our angle for this market, and we have to do it. Because I'll tell you one thing. Without, like, if you take Thor Ragnarok as, like, a baseline, okay, that movie has a concept that few people would understand. You have to educate people on what that movie's about. Okay, like even people that regularly follow the Marvel movies. Okay, like how are they going to know? Like how are you going to know what Ragnarok even is? It was only referenced in Ultron in the first couple minutes. Okay, so now
it's also in like the Thor jacuzzi scene, the weird jacuzzi.
Yeah, okay,
scene.
so twice, yeah, but that's hardly. They don't even. Do they even say Ragnarok? They don't even say Ragnarok. Yeah. So
They just had a bunch of vague scenes in the middle of Age of Ultron.
Imagine the viewer outside of us. How are we going to tell? And those are the ones that make the difference in movies. It's not us. Okay? You get the core, you get like the prime audience. Even if they see the movie 10 times a piece, it's not going to make up the people that just want to go and have a good time. Which is exactly like the point that I read from Joe Rogan, which is like they want to go, they want to have fun, they want to do a brain dump. There's ways to guarantee that, meaning we make an intelligent movie, we make a well-designed movie, we make a movie that's thoughtful, okay, that has true intent. That's what's going to carry over even for like the average person. But again, it's like this. I think it's this high horse, and it's almost going to be that, all right, so there's a couple shots in Thor Ragnarok that has soldiers, like Kirby drawn soldiers, and there's like different interactions with them. Okay, someone might sit down and be like, I want to see those Kirby soldiers. I want to see everything about them. And he might sit down, they might be in one shot. And that so now what are we doing? Like the movie is failing you, or are you just kind of like, it's no different than looking at a movie poster and imagining something of saying like, oh, okay. But then again, like it's always been done. Like if you grew up, like you and I grew up reading comics, how many covers meet up to the story? None.
Or have to do anything to do with the story.
And trailers are the covers.
Right.
So what does it matter? Like just sit down and watch the movie. Without the trailers, you won't even know, like, and these marketing campaigns, you won't even know what some of the premises are. Like, and that's, look, I look at the stuff at Rogue One, and I even look at the stuff at Suicide Squad, and huge success in awareness, marketing, and hype. Dude, there were people I didn't even know. They, like, were into that stuff that were excited for Suicide Squad. Because they just thought it was going to be this, like, balls-out movie. And it wasn't a balls-out movie. But not the individual shots. Like, not that it was, like, Joker not here, and Harley Quinn said this there, and designed the movie, and it was not a balls-out movie. And I think it's the macro and the micro getting merged there. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I think I cut you off there though.
No, I think we got kind of what we're the thing, and the only thing I'll say, I won't even get into what it is like with Alien Covenant. I'll just kind of compare it to what we've already had. So today I put 3 issues of Aliens: Dead Orbit by James Stocco. It's written and drawn. That's better than Alien Covenant. There's 3 issues. There's 4 issues. The 4th one will be out in a couple weeks.
Yeah, but that's also a comic.
But it has the same atmosphere. It has the same.
It's okay. It's okay.
It feels better.
I think
than that.
I think the Aliens sequel from Dark Horse, like their second miniseries, is better than Alien 3. Okay, but it's a comic. You can draw anything in a comic. It doesn't cost a dime.
I know, but you should still be able to make that. They have $200 million to make Covenant.
So
why did they cut out? Okay, real quick about Covenant.
Yeah.
All the deleted scenes. Did you watch the prelude?
Right, like the preludes, and then
the other deleted scenes.
And then the Blu-ray deleted scenes. Okay.
Why are they not? They make the movie so much better.
I don't think it matters.
It matters. I don't think it matters. In the first 2 minutes of Alien Covenant, not spoilers, happens in the first 2 minutes. James Franco gets burned up a lot. You don't even see his face. Right. You barely see his face. Why would you do that?
So here's the thing: when you make a movie,
the rest of the movie, I'm just like, she's pining over this guy. I don't even know.
Yeah,
I didn't even get a chance.
But it's not
even a shot.
But that's even that. Like, I get it. So like, would it create more of an emotional attachment?
Yes, because that way I'm supposed to attach myself to her.
But
and Danny McBride.
But you don't even know if those scenes work, and that's why they were cut out.
I watched the scenes. They work. The first scene works.
Not in the flow of the movie.
He's sick. He's in the thing.
But not in the flow of the movie.
I would say do that, then credits, and then
Yeah.
opening scene.
Okay,
The prelude's good. Everyone's hanging out. They're bonding. They know there's a tension between Billy Crudup, Dr. Manhattan before he's Dr. Manhattan.
Right.
So Dr. Manhattan's over there.
Crudup.
He can't possibly relate to these people. He's not as good as that guy, or he's
Right.
the second in
He's
command.
got a little bit of a number 2 complex.
Right. So he's
Yeah.
got. So that's it.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So when
and I don't know who's married to who.
So when
I don't know what's going on.
I don't think none of that matters. That movie, Alien Covenant,
Right.
is about the nature of creation. Okay.
I like the White Room.
And that was
but
that was the entire intent of that movie. The intent was that what is your right to create? So
it's the Guy Pearce. The Guy Pearce
it's,
scene with
it's the way that the movie opens. It's
I like
David's
that.
it's David's entire position throughout the flick. So here's what happens sometimes. Like, you line it all up, you cut that movie, and you watch that movie, and you're like, you know what? Like, it's not getting to the point. This is the point of the movie. And I think once you realize what the point of the movie is, a lot of times, because, like, what was my criticism with Baby Driver? I'm pretty sure we got it on on the show, which is like, I don't know what the point of the movie was. The point, I'm still confused about the point of Baby
I'm
Driver.
still confused to see if the third act even happened.
Right.
He could have died.
He could have, yeah.
He could be dead in the parking garage.
Right, he could be.
Because it became Looney Tunes, and then all of a sudden he's in jail.
Yeah.
I don't know. He could have died when he got shot near his ears. I don't really know.
Quick side note, because you mentioned it while we were recording.
Oh, the sheen is off on Baby Driver. Yeah, that's what we talked about. We
Yeah.
talked about the fact that we day one, not that we want to be pro anti anything, I should say.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Pro anti anything? That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm being
like openly against it. Right?
I'm openly
Yeah.
against it. Right. That's the long way around.
Yeah.
Long story long. But the whole point is that we have seen enough. We don't think that a reputation should carry something. So when we go into it, everything we said in the intro, everything we're in the car. Everything we like, it should be this movie. Everything. We like all the actors.
Yeah.
We like the director. We understand how it was made.
Yeah.
We understand that it was directed. We understand that they took the songs and they were like direct the scene to the song. So they didn't cut a song to like be 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it was a 2 minute scene. They cut the scene to be the song of 3 minutes 33 seconds.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. It's a good.
But it didn't work. But I've watched Scott Pilgrim since I last seen you. I watched Scott Pilgrim three times.
Okay.
3 times since.
Yeah.
Moved in, didn't have cable yet. Watch what's my favorite movies, right? Scott Pilgrim, Speed Racer,
No,
Transformers
no.
the movie.
Right.
Those are the
There you
top
go.
3. Those have been watched. I watched
Oh.
Transformers the movie today.
Did you? Dude,
Today.
we were talking about that last night, and dude, I was saying, like, if it wasn't for Hot Rod, that kid would have died when he crashed his hoverboard. the little like ADD spoiled kid that's like, I want to go fishing. Now I want a hoverboard.
Right.
Now I want to see the spaceship. And Hot Rod's like, too
Right,
much
Daniel.
extra. Too much extra for you, dude. You're gonna die, and he barely does.
Ride in style, Daniel, and just throws him in the
Yeah.
cockpit and goes.
Right, but no. Okay, so like, let me just touch on Retouch Covenant. When I was first watching, there was a volume to the action in that I thought was it was a relief to see that type of ferocity in the like xenomorph like variants. Okay, that blew me away. I loved that it was freaking deadly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
it was deadly. The other thing that stood, and I'm kind of a little bit surprised that you didn't pick up on how it created these like connections and notes to the other Alien movies. Meaning, we're having death between movies now. Now that's the thing. It's not so weird between Aliens and Alien 3. That there's a DNA connection between Creator and Xenomorph. When the first black one emerges out of Dr. Manhattan, it honors David. And that harkens back to Alien Resurrection, when the baby and Sigourney Weaver and the aliens don't kill Sigourney Weaver in Alien 3, and further don't kill her in Alien Resurrection. That there is like this like it's almost like this instinct that it's honoring the creator. So even like adds volume to some of those scenes.
Right.
Okay. It furthered the mythology, like, or like the lore of like these androids and their purpose. Okay. It it it
Didn't you see the android like double cross like?
Yeah, it was there.
Come
Yeah,
in.
but you know what it is? Like,
No one else saw that.
like it was.
She's like, I'm just gonna be okay. Oh no, you're not that
Yeah.
android.
It was, yeah, but like
A double cross was very open.
yeah, but it's like you kind of thought it was happening. You were waiting for it, but then again, it was like you were waiting for that payoff, and I thought that payoff was great when she's about to go to sleep.
It's a good. I think it's a good
And
ending.
she realizes, yeah, and the original ending for that was him transmitting to the Wayland Corporation. Okay?
Okay.
And he transmits that he has made progress, and now he's heading here, and there was like a problem, meaning that like he's going to excuse this like storm as to why people aren't there, but he has made progress in these like experiments. Okay, and they cut that out. But the way how Covenant
That would have stopped the movie dead.
yeah, but the way
be
how
honest.
but the way how Covenant ended, you're like, oh fuck, dude! Like this dude has now he has embryos and he has humans to further experiment on, and I don't think you need the additional cutscene where you see him like you see some of his notes in his diary on how they explain what happened with him and Shaw. Okay, that was cut out.
See, I know, but see, I would have liked that because you saw Arrival, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
So you know in the middle of Arrival where they talk about like the alien language, they created that language. I could have
Yeah.
hung out there for another 2-3 minutes.
Yeah,
They
it's-
cut that. That was like 2 minutes. They're like, here, this is a thing, and then it's not, and then they move on. But I was like, hold on. Like I want to hang out in the science. Like, I would have like to hung out in that room, and maybe that's just like
I
a weird DVD extra they could have or a Blu-ray extra. They could just be like, all right,
Yeah,
just like
that-
put a 360 camera, just plant it in the middle of that set, and just let me look around.
yeah.
Like I think that would be pretty fun.
Yeah, but you know what it is though? I think even with that point with Arrival, these are the things that created geek culture. Meaning that when we were younger, it was all about Boba Fett having braids on his armor, and they were Wookiee braids.
What does that mean?
Right.
Is it Mandalorian?
Yeah, and it was his emblem. And
Right,
it
right.
was that the Marvel comic book did an origin for Boba Fett. And, well, what's going to happen now? Because he's going to be in the next, episodes 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Like, like there was this lore created through ideas like that. Like these tidbits that got into you. Like we'll just go right back into Blade Runner. Like Blade Runner resonated because it didn't really hit anything home at the end. There was no like ball going over the fence saying this is where we are, this is our point. No, it was
Right.
like this really weird wide open thing, and then a random like answer in like an interview now creates this idea that what never adds up in the movie that Decker is a replicant. It's never
doesn't make sense that he's now aging.
yeah, right. Okay. But it's like it's these little things that like you hold on to. And I think sometimes I'm not saying it's always with intent, but even that point with Arrival, like you're right. You're like, damn, dude, like that is like a circular language from a race of aliens that exist like all time. Like they forward and backward. They exist in like you're like, man, like that's nuts. Like, yeah, I would like even want to know more about the aliens in Arrival, but knowing what you know kind of like really I think when you rewatch the movie, there's like this anticipation for those scenes. There's like something you crave to pick up, or something that a light switch you want to go on like in your head that doesn't that's not there. And I like, dude, I remember watching. I know we're like just harping on aliens, but I remember watching Aliens when I was a kid, and anything regarding those space marines, like I was just hooked on. Like I wanted to know, like if they were a part of a standing army, like are they corporate marines? Like looking at the emblems that they have on the drop ship, and seeing like the death from above logo that they got like next to that cockpit, and you're like, oh, like stuff like that stood out so much to me. but it stood out because it's hardly there. Like, it's a detail to make that movie realistic, not particularly a part of the story. You know, and I know that's like a little loosey goosey, but I mean, I don't know. Like, I think Covenant did a lot of that because like every time you see David's workshop, you just want the camera to freeze.
Just stay there. Right.
You're just like, what is that? Like, what is happening here?
I think on this is what, the 6th or 7th attempt at like Colonial Marines or whatever. So I should know their names, man. I should know that it's like James. It's like there's James Franco and there's Sam Waterston's kid. There's Ripley-esque imagery,
which is now even now like that's such a cool solid theme.
But I can tell you, Hudson, Hicks, you know what I mean? Like I can blow off those 1986 man. They're Camerons.
Okay,
like,
but growing up, you only knew Hudson and Hicks.
Well, I only know it now, apparently.
And
Bishop, you know what I mean?
Well, you know Apollo, the squad leader. You know Crow, the first one to die. Okay, but the thing is, though,
Well, Alien, I've watched a bunch of times, so I probably know them just by repetition.
Yeah.
So
Dallas.
I get that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Dallas right there.
Right there. Name. Yeah.
Dallas the cat.
Yeah. Dallas the cat also doesn't respond to.
I just feel that if this
quarantine.
is the 7th Alien film or whatever, I don't even know. I don't count the Alien vs Predator movies. I think they're shit, so I don't count them.
I like the first one.
I'm not gonna count. I'm gonna count Aliens.
I love the Predators in AVP because they're so jacked.
They're wacky.
Those Predators are deadlifting like 800 pounds for reps. I love those Predators.
All right, so all we really came to is that we, I guess in a way, is I'm frustrated by marketing. This is my ongoing theme. I'm frustrated by marketing.
100%, yeah.
And I walk into movies in a different mindset.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and that's the true analysis. And
maybe that's why I love my tiny movies, because they don't have any money to make any trailer that's at all marketable whatsoever.
Exactly. Yeah, no, and that's
so it's going to be this. Here's a small personal film.
Yeah,
there you
Here
go.
It is. So that's the vanilla chocolate. Like that's the vanilla. Okay, but that's the thing. So like when I sit down to watch a movie, I'm sitting down to see a movie, okay, and like Alien Covenant had, I thought, intelligent nods and nods to the entire franchise, okay. I thought that the point of that movie was deeply like fascinating and philosophical, to where like what is your right as a creator? What is when you know you're going to outlive what created you, like kind of like you're going to outlive your parents. So like what is your right now? Like do you now have like more right because they're going to die and you're here now? Like do you have is there more intent into your life because you're now outliving something? Okay, like these themes are really rich. I thought the wobbly ship flying over the engineers air, like the wobbly ship with the crane and Tennessee, like, oh, I can't control this thing. Okay, like a little goofy, whatever. But then again, I'm watching an Alien movie. Like, what else are we going to have?
Right.
Like, what else are we going to do? But there was the level of violence in that movie I freaking loved. And look, people cried about Prometheus, about it not being an Alien movie or whatever, like what they thought, and they delivered what they thought people thought that they wanted.
I think the biggest complaint with Prometheus is they believed that the ending of that was going to have Episode 3 syndrome. So Episode 3 syndrome would be like, it's going to just make it to the beginning, or even like Rogue One, like it's going to put it right to the beginning of what I believe is what they found on Alien. Like it's going to be the exact same ship.
Yeah.
It's going to have the same guy sitting there. Like it's going to be you're going to deliver it perfectly. Here's your present.
Right.
And it wasn't. And they're like, wait a second, I want that present. Why wasn't that the right way?
Well, even now with how they wrap up Covenant, even if there were to make a third movie, there's so much more.
I think he's making the movie until he dies in the director's chair. I think
so much,
Ridley Scott is planning like 3 more.
Yeah, there's so much work that they have to do to get to Alien. There's so much work that they can't even. I don't think they could even do it in one movie, and that's where like I'm kind of happy with these being these like potential side tangent alien movies that, like they have an origin for the xenomorph. Like, get over it. Like, we're in the xenomorph's origin is as covenant as Boba Fett's and Wolverine's origin. Like, perhaps, but I don't think it takes anything away from the alien as because it's a non-vocal character. The character doesn't have lines. The character is a plot device. So whatever, they're spending a lot of time explaining away where Jason Voorhees came from or whatever. But okay, and I did do a recording of this, which is I might just like put this out. I also marked Alien Covenant as the fall of Hollywood because it took less than 2 months for that movie to hit stream. It was available on Amazon Instant in less than 2 months. That's why I less than 2 months.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Okay, so and then the other Dream Warriors first here. That's your apocalypse. Yeah, that's your apocalypse. The second sign of the apocalypse is that with inflation, if you compare Homecoming to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, Maguire's Spider-Man kills it by well over double. Did double the box office as Homecoming with inflation, meaning that a movie that everyone loved, everyone wanted to see, a character that people are fine like seeing again or seeing like a fresh take on. No butts and seats. The butts and seats are one half that they were with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. It has nothing to do with the money. It's the butts and seats. Okay, right. Scary as balls. And as we're talking right now, Hitman's Bodyguard barely crossed 10 million at the box office.
I didn't even check that. One
of the worst weeks ever in box office history just eclipsed us.
With Deadpool and Nick Fury together.
The movie did look stupid. Like, I would sit down and get drunk to that movie and have a great time. Get totally wasted watching that movie.
It's completely
and have a great time.
Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds, and it's completely Samuel being Samuel.
That's all it is. Yeah,
just throw in a side of Hayek, throw in a quick side of Salma Hayek, and we're all set.
But
what did Atomic Blonde do? What happened with that? I didn't really look. I haven't really looked at box office in a bit.
Let me go. I think Atomic Blonde made money back. It did better than John Wick, but then again, people knew what to expect. Like they wanted
I'm not saying Atomic Blonde. My dad loved Atomic Blonde.
Did he really?
He loved it. Yeah. The last time my dad came over the other night, he loved Atomic Blonde.
Yeah,
he loved Valerian. I did not like Valerian. But I thought Valerian was so expected that I was bored and I couldn't wait for it to be over. There was nothing dynamic with that movie.
I wanted to see it so bad.
And I don't care. I went to, so me and my girlfriend, we went up to King of Prussia.
Yeah, it's more than double XD. Worldwide box office, Atomic Blonde.
To what? What's the
total? Worldwide it's 80, budget was 30, domestic it's 49. So it's
all right.
It's a hit. It's a hit, and it's a plot that people said could not be followed. You could not follow the movie's plot. But whenever people say that to me, it's a little bit of a trigger, because every movie has a plot.
Come on, I don't know.
Every movie has a plot.
I think you got the idea. Look, she's going to throw someone down a staircase for like 8 minutes. Okay, there you go. What's the point? Okay, like to me, like I'm like forgiving of those type of movies. Like I'm forgiving. Like I don't know. John Wick was kind of similar, and John Wick 2, you got it exactly. You got it. Mm-hmm. You got it. It's not really. It's not exactly paint by numbers, but and by and large, that Hitman's Bodyguard should be fucking just paint by numbers, man.
Yeah,
make that money.
I kind of was. I was expecting that to have a 30-35 opening.
I wonder what that Bruce Lee's gonna do. That's gonna fail, right? I guess
Bruce Lee, the WWE movie.
Yeah, but I kind of want. But that's WWE and Blumhouse. That's Blumhouse Tilt. Yeah. Blumhouse Tilt is a new. I think Blumhouse is interesting. Mm-hmm. I think they have a good formula.
Yeah.
I think most of their movies are pretty entertaining,
they're safe. They're safe bets. They're right in the middle.
But I feel that I don't really watch a Blumhouse movie. I'm like, you know what? I didn't like that. I don't think I know exactly what I'm going to get with it. So you have yet to watch Split, correct? You've not done the Split.
I have not done Split. No.
Okay.
But soon. Like, no, I'm not dismissive. Look, I'm not, you know me, I'm not dismissive.
Yeah, but I think with that is like you can almost dismiss it because you're like, I get it. I'll get around to it, and I know I'm going to be displeased with it. Like, or
oh no, not
I'll be fair, or
it's just
not displeased, displeased. Like I'll be this. I'll be 75% on it. If it goes to 70, sure. If it goes to 80, sure. But I don't think you're going to be.
Yeah, no,
50,
here's the thing. We'll use that as a segue. Getting 40 minutes in. Jeez.
Hey, everybody, 40 minutes.
40 minutes in. Yeah. I think we should almost split this recording. I think we should just go through this right now.
Do you want to do the Netflix and then do the Defenders separate?
Well, no. I want to go through what we were discussing before we recorded that we teased.
I don't remember. We talked about it.
Get Out.
Oh.
I want to get into Get Out. How about
And then
this?
we'll cut it.
Yeah,
And then we'll do Netflix.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do 2 shows.
I'll write it.
We'll do.
I'll
we'll
literally
do
write it and we'll do it live.
52. Bill O'Reilly. Okay. So yeah, everything you just said about like
I'm gonna get another beer. Keep rolling.
I thought you had 2 here.
No, because I like it cold.
Oh, you're a cold beer. I'm just
a cold beer guy.
I'm just a alcohol can be in any state. There's times where like even us, we left beers out and I woke up the next day like on a Monday and I just drank them for breakfast.
It's criminal.
It's criminal.
What is all that? Is that yogurt?
No, that is Dallas was eating Rachel Ray's cat food at one point, and he kind of duped me.
And how many ketchups do you have? You have 3 ketchups.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, a lot of ketchup
You
here.
have 3 keep refrigerated ketchups.
Well, I don't refrigerate ketchup because you don't have to. And
I think it says it on it.
no, it doesn't. It doesn't say keep
Is that just
refrigerated.
one of those like things I believe is a keep refrigerated?
Yeah, it's kind of like looking at eclipse will blind you, where it won't, because it's no different than looking at the sun in any other state. Like like driving and you're blinded by the sun. That's far worse than what happens with the eclipse.
Might as well be
and people
walking on the sun. That's
correct. Yeah.
It's a Smash Mouth song.
Was I also off of Fushu Man, their premiere album?
We'll be off their second album.
Fushu Man.
You know what? Recently, for whatever reason, me and my girlfriend have been listening to nothing but very fast lyriced 90s music. Like the 1 Week song from like Bare Naked.
Yeah.
Why is that fast? What is going on? Like that was the thing. It was the Third Eye Blind had to go fast.
It
was
was a response to grunge. It was a response to grunge.
How much we can fill this much time? Do you think that's it? I don't know.
No,
What
it was.
is.
Look, people are easily inspired. They're easily, especially creative people, are easily ignited. Okay, this goes to Jim Lee drawing anime eyes. Like he's even said that was one of my biggest mistakes I ever could have made was drawing anime eyes. But people were so captured by that movement that you had the top guys like Angela having giant robot feet in Spawn number 9. It's easy to get inspired. It's actually something you want. When you don't see it, and we referenced this earlier when we were going through comics, like when you're going through your stuff with me, where we're going through Jim Lee's Wildcats X-Men, and I'm just like, dude, I just like the palette, like just the colors on the page. And then you go to today, and it's just like monotone and sterile and neat and perfect, and you're just like,
it's too colored. It's too perfectly colored.
And it's just kind of like, where's like the pop? Where's the inspiration? Where's just someone sitting down saying, I just saw Vampire Hunter D, and I'm putting this in Batman. Like I'm gonna
have magic, have a giant sword.
Yeah.
Like Final Fantasy VII or whatever.
Like I'm doing something with this because I'm so inspired. And now with DC and Marvel, there's an editorial pyramid that kind of Marvel created in the early 2000s, which did in ways save the company, but it created this now guessing check to where like you just can't have someone sitting down saying, dude, I just want to do big hair. Like it looks so freaking cool just drawing giant hair. It looks so cool. Like this
voodoo to have big hair.
This gets me going. Like I just want to draw this, and now it's like no, because you can't even talk to your editor. Now you have to talk to your assistant editor, and you can't get him on the phone. It's email only. Okay, and like it's a sterile environment when it comes to comics. And you know what happens? It's like that becomes the status quo. The independents just copy what they're seeing from the big two. So even like the independents are like Image, which Image should be like throwing haymakers with new titles, concepts, and ideas endlessly. It like should always be on the cutting edge, and it's kind of sterile. Like even Image is just like you're like, I get it, you know, like they got Black Science and Descender, and like okay, like they got Walking Dead, but like okay, it's all passe. But there's nothing where you're like, this is a person that's inspired This is a person that is so fired up that I'm looking at it right now. And I think the 90s, getting back to your music point, was like even the end of that, even for music, to where it was just like everyone was like pushing and pulling, and you had ska rolling in with rock, and you had grunge rolling in with rap, and you're just like, dude, like what was that all about? Like what was that all about? And no, people just they are fighting for a voice, and there was avenues, and there was like windfalls of money, and now like people don't want to pay an artist to do anything because it's all downloadable, it's all free. People think Kanye West is making too much money, Taylor Swift is making too much money, and you're like, dude, like you want those people to be filthy rich, because you know what they do? Like we see this in film a lot too. They create their own labels. They make so much money, they create their own labels, and they find people that have opposing points of view than they do, and they give those people chances. And it's a broken pyramid. It's a broken structure because people absorb and look at content so differently right now. Like they don't appreciate the content, because you know what? You and I sit down. I didn't even know this until you told me. It's a $90 million Will Smith movie, bang, on Netflix right there. Bang, there it is. Brad Pitt is on a Netflix movie that no one's even heard of.
Right.
Brad Pitt.
There's more than that. There's
Brad
tons
Pitt,
next year. Tons.
Brad Pitt had a movie premiere on Netflix, and no one's even heard of it. That's part of the fall. That's the fall. It's a changing of the current. Okay. Like I said, 2 weeks for 2 months for Alien Covenant to go from box office to my television. 2 months. I mean, do you remember waiting years for VHS and having to pay
6 to 8? It was like 9 months. It was 9 months to a year.
And having to pay.
Unless it was like a Spielberg. Remember, E.T. took a long. E.T. didn't come out, right?
I don't think
they re-released it, and then they did a VHS version of it, but like it wasn't.
And
I remember my uncle having like a bootleg of it. I remember that.
Yeah, I will always reference this. I was so into The Crow. The Crow took so long to come on VHS. My family bought me a rental copy. It was like $100 rental copy for my birthday one year. And that was the way I got The Crow at home. For $100, I could get The Crow at home.
Right.
Like it's
right.
And that angst, talking about Transformers the animated movie. Do you remember when that got re-released on VHS for like the first? Look, I have it right here. Right here. There you go. There's a re-release.
Oh yeah.
Right there.
Yep.
Okay.
Avid. This went through so many things. This is by Avid, and this is with not. This is no shit in here.
No, that it's just
no
theater
shit.
to there. Yeah, theater to there.
Wait, it doesn't say shit in this though.
No shit.
Not in this one.
No, but
So
I'll tell you one thing.
Can we need to put that in
that
some
was
type of
such,
context?
That
No one
was
knows
such,
what we're talking about.
That was such a rumor. By the time that came out,
it didn't happen.
You didn't even know. You didn't even know. You bought that and you didn't know. You were hoping. You were hoping to be proven right or wrong.
Happened. Okay, so in 1986, and I watched this morning.
Let's just get into it. You
So
watched it.
I watched this morning. I'm not kidding. I watched this morning. So because I just bought a hot rod, so I bought a Hot Rod Titans return.
Did you
toy.
really?
Yeah, it's good too. It's pretty good.
I love Hot Rod.
Yeah. So
he's my boy.
Okay, so 1986, Transformers movie comes out. There's a part where a planet's blowing up, and and it's on Cybertron 1. Cybertron 1 or 2.
Oh no, it's not.
What's the
we're
moon
talking
base?
about Transformers. Oh,
Yeah,
we're talking about the moon base. Yeah,
So
there's moon bases, and then
Jazz the moon base 2. Moon base 2
Right.
is where.
Well, let's back it up just a little bit too. We're on the side tangent here. I love the opening world in Transformers the animated movie, because what it does, and I don't think they ever touched on this. There's other Cybertrons out there, but other robot races that have robotic worlds.
I don't know if it's called Cybertron.
It's not, but it goes to show
another
you.
robot world.
It goes to show you that Cybertron's not unique. There's these other robot worlds out there that Unicron's hunting down. He's hunting down. He feeds off of robot worlds. He doesn't. He's not Galactus. So why is Cybertron even? Why fight for it? There's other worlds for you to go to. Autobots.
Right.
The Decepticons can have Cybertron. It becomes like a whole different context of the battle.
Yeah, but you can't take Cybertrons to Autobots. You know what I mean?
But,
like that's.
Yeah, but the Autobots lost it fair and square. It was a war. Fair and square, they lost Cybertron.
That's true.
Okay? And they deserve to be hunted down and destroyed. But okay, yeah. So
Right, so
we're at Moonbase 2.
So Moonbase 2 is Bumblebee. Well, it's Bumblebee and Spike. So Bumblebee and Spike go and they go to look for this planet.
Oh, right. Okay.
And it's just asteroids.
Right.
It's just nothing but like it's like it's not here. And then Spike says, "Shit, what are we gonna do now?"
Yeah, shit. What are we going to do now? Yeah.
So in the movie theater, I'm what? I'm 9. You're 9 or 8 or 9.
8.
You're 8.
Yeah.
So I'm 9, going, "Oh my god, there was shit." They just said shit in a Transformers
and you never
movie.
imagined a cartoon.
And this was 15 minutes after Ironhide died, and like there was tons of people. There was tons of our childhood toys that just died,
destroyed. Yeah.
And then I don't know if Prime died yet. I'm not sure if Prime. Yeah, Prime died. Yeah, Prime is dead at this point.
No.
He's not dead yet?
No. We go forward because. So here's the thing. So here's the other weird point. There's like 8 Decepticons that invade the Autobot city on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
There's 8, but there's a city of Autobots.
And they can't beat it. They
can't because it
they
goes
can't make a
overnight.
sneak
Remember,
attack.
it goes overnight. There's the overnight like montage.
Autobot City, which is based on Metroplex.
It's a whole freaking city, and they can't kill 8 or 9 Decepticons. They can't do it.
Can't do it.
Yeah,
It was a sneak attack.
Whatever.
No one's ready.
They slip through their defenses in their own shuttle.
That's true.
But these, but again, but here's the thing. So where you are now with this, like, I guess this is so none of it makes any sense, right? We can agree that none of it makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many things that we just want to ignore and focus on. And that's what you got to do with almost every single movie you watch today. You just got to be like, you know what? I don't, they just jumped a submarine with a car. And it's maybe the greatest thing I've ever seen. Because it's fantasy and it's just this big idea and wow. And it's not, so if there is a Peter curve, as some of your friends observed, that's the Peter curve, which is I'm just sitting down, I'm being entertained, but then again, to get into you want to just skip ahead? Can we talk about, can we wrap up this episode real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Get Out. We're going to talk about Get Out real quick.
Yeah, so I probably mentioned this on episode 10.
You've been trying to get me to watch it.
I was like, hey, I really like this horror movie.
You told me you would even buy for me to watch.
I said, I think this is it's a whole new, it's like, in a way, it's like a new genre. It calls back to a couple older genres. It's a social thriller.
It's a multi-genre movie.
Right.
And I think a successful one at that.
And the audience, you do think it's successful.
I think it's a successful.
As you watched it, you kept texting me and you said, I don't even know if I could finish this, which I thought was interesting.
Okay, because it's the world that we all live in that's portrayed as a reality. Because it's a hot topic, the portrayal of the world that does not exist is an immediate fracture and break, meaning that you and I grew up in similar neighborhoods at a different time, like 10, 15 years ago, or say 20 years ago. Okay, I had many black African friends. Okay, I grew up right near Brittany Woods, which is legendary in the area for being a drug haven. Okay, my neighborhood, the nicer neighborhoods that are right down the street, none of my black friends in my entire life ever told me they were afraid to walk through those neighborhoods, as the beginning of that movie portrayed. Okay, it doesn't exist. That reality of that world, of that guy being nervous just walking down the sidewalk, it doesn't exist. So what's it doing? It's trying to now convince me of something to make a point. And the point has nothing to do with the plot of the movie. Okay, that was my initial snap. Okay, I just want to get to the logical misstep, the big sticking point for me.
Well, so for that scene, then you go on the car drive.
Yeah.
And then the car drive, and they get pulled over by a police officer. Mm-hmm. And you don't think that's a reality?
Well, I'm not saying that. So if we're breaking up, so that thing with the reality. Okay.
There's no profile. There's a profiling-esque scene in this. That's all I'm trying to frame.
So here's the funny thing. Okay, I've been arrested multiple times. I've been detained multiple times. Okay, from police officers that targeted me just because I was a teenager in the car, because when they spoke with me, when they pulled me over, and I was criticized and told this. I said too many times. I said too many times. Made it sound like I was lying. No, I'm nervous. I'm talking to a fucking cop. Okay? Okay, at the end of the day, okay, you can grit your teeth. You can hate those guys. You can hate them. But you have to show respect. Okay? If we're putting this content out, and this Detroit movie kind of touched on this too, okay? You respect police officers. It's yes, sir, it's no, sir.
He didn't disrespect her.
Okay.
He didn't disrespect the police officer.
But what she's doing and where she's coming
sure.
because she is his voice in that. Okay. No. Hell no. If I had children, okay, and I'm watching that movie with that children, I would stop the movie right there. And I would have been like, hey, no, we never act that way in front of a police officer. Never. I don't care, because you know what? They could be wrong, you could be wrong. You could be emotional, whatever. That job is like post-traumatic stress syndrome every single day for those guys. It's a hard job. It's not, no way is it easy. Okay? You start acting up and they don't know what your intentions are and something goes wrong. Who's in the fault? Not you. They don't know what you're going to do. They feel in danger, okay? It's not like, again, like never hits the news stream. But, you know, like cops pull people over and get shot all the time. But that never hits the news. What we see is people who are unruly around cops, okay, that don't grit their teeth, that don't just scowl underneath their breath, okay? And we see those people acting out, which are kind of like already, in a sense, committing crimes. And I'm not saying there's not bad police officers, but on average, no. Like, they're there to help. They're there to help, okay? No, it's just like another point of a reality that doesn't exist. But that scene didn't bother me. That scene
was pretty small.
Yeah, it didn't bother me. What bothered me was when, at the end of the movie, like the real sticking point was when she was going through the pictures. So let's just say those pictures go back, what, to like the 1960s, potentially, 1950s?
What, her pictures?
Well, when he finds her stack of Polaroids.
Right, okay.
Okay, so if there was a stack of them, if each of those pictures represents like 2 years, because I think they mentioned that they were together for 2 years or 1 year. I thought it was 2
years. Yeah, they pretty much have that party every year. She does it every year.
Right, okay.
So say she's 24, maybe it's 5 or 6 years that she's always got a...
Yeah.
And, you know, but I mean, to go to even to the context of the brainwashing, the sunken place, like any of that
that's
stuff.
Great stuff.
Like, you don't think...
That's
I think that
great stuff. Yeah, it's awesome.
I felt transported. Like, to me, the thing that really hit for me was... I didn't think the reality was too far different. I did love... I think I meant to mention this. I love that I was in the theater, and a couple days later, I heard someone talking about in where I work, and I went over to them, and I was talking about, I was like, hey, and wasn't that scene uncomfortable for you? Was that different for me?
Okay.
There was a lot of social commentary going on.
Right.
And it's hard for me to laugh at a scene. It's hard for me to... I'm very uncomfortable in a different scene. And then it's just different in general.
So here,
like I saw it on opening day with 3 of my white friends, and then there was a group of black people here, and there was like, you know, there was Mexican, everyone was in the theater.
Yeah.
And everyone had to laugh or not laugh uncomfortably at different parts.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a very interesting boiler, like, what do you call that? Like melting pot movie.
Right. But
with various issues.
Most movies are. You go to a Transformers movie, you see everyone, and depending on your theater, you might see a couple infants there. You see, okay, every movie gathers.
Yeah, but I don't.
That's the only way to make
with
money.
I know, but I think with this, it targeted all sorts of different things.
Yeah, because you know why? Because it's a part of the victimhood.
But it comes back to like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. It's no different than that.
No, it's
a Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with some horror undertones.
If this movie went hardcore into that angle, 100%.
It's kind. You don't think it's kind of in that?
No, because you know what makes
they even mention it that it's in like a that it's in vogue to be like
which is
demo.
Completely dumb and ridiculous. That was the most dumb.
I thought that was
dumbest line,
kind of interesting.
The stupidest line in that
that's
entire
the hook.
movie. Okay, so
that's the line in which that would make sense.
Here's the thing. we're talking about those pictures.
Warriors.
Yeah.
Warring.
Those pictures represent time. And they represent relationships. And based on the fashion and the pictures, that it goes back potentially to the 1960s.
It can't because she's that's not no.
Well, because
okay. What about the
grandmother.
hold on. What about the?
Well,
there's a factor in there where there's an Asian guy
yes.
that could have been misplaced too, or he's just there as like an observer, and that's just out of nowhere.
Or maybe he's someone new
or maybe just not
to the cult, or someone new to the clan, or what. But
or maybe he's someone else in there.
Let me get to the point with the picture. Let's just say the pictures represent time.
If people haven't seen this movie, this will make absolutely no sense to you.
No. But
so please say it.
So here's the thing.
Would you recommend people to see this first?
No.
Okay.
On any degree whatsoever. Okay. So here.
It's gonna be in like every top 10. Here's this movie's on like every top 10. It's gonna show in the top 5.
Because it has to be. It has to be.
Absolutely not.
Because 100%.
This movie was self-financed.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It has to be in the top 10 because you're going to be criticized if it's not. If you're if you have an audience and you're a reviewer, you're criticized not putting this movie in your top 10.
I was adopter day one.
I'll tell you. Okay, so here's the thing. Let's just say those pictures represent time. Let's just say max maybe 2 years, and there's a stack of them. Okay?
It's 9 people.
Okay, right. That's a long time. So the girl learns how to act around black people, right? Right? Mm-hmm. The girl knows how to act around them, to lure them in, to do it all.
It was a very specific group that she was going after. These very healthy, agile.
Yeah. So she learns how to lure them in, which is the girl's not awkward around black people, right? Mm-hmm. You can say she's nearly black herself in the way she relates to them. Okay. She knows their plights enough to argue with the cop about it, right? Right? Mm-hmm. We can agree on that. The family, who's been doing this for 100 years. Okay.
20 years. Well, it's a guy. I mean, you know what I mean?
It's more than 20. It's because even based on the video that he sees, I
think they had to have lured someone. It wasn't always like her boyfriend.
No, it wasn't always black. At one time, it was white people. Mm-hmm. Okay, but we'll just say for the sake of discussion, 100 years. Okay, maybe 80.
It's not 80 years because he just invented it like the guys on the video.
Okay, so the 1970s? So it's
probably
50, 60 years. 50, 60 years. Okay. For 50 and 60 years, the daughter learned how to act around black people, but the family doesn't. So why would the family ever act awkward around someone they're trying to lure in that they have mass experience with? They know black people. They've seen a lot of black people to this point. Why wouldn't you create a comfortable environment not to tip anyone off? And that's where the movie breaks. The movie makes no sense. Why is the family awkward and the girl's perfect? Wouldn't everyone be perfect? Because that's what you're trying to do. It's like a Venus flytrap.
The whole point of them making this original concept was to put their grandparents in. The grandparents are in the housekeeper.
I get it.
And they're in the groundskeeper.
I get it, but that's not answering my question.
Those were the first two.
But
one
why
of the first
is the
two
family awkward? The family does not know.
I don't know if they're awkward. I think he's being overtly.
They all know how to
overtly pro-Obama.
No. The point is that there's subtle. They're called microaggressions. There's microaggressions that white people have towards black people because they came for late and they all know how to act around black people, and that's the family.
Well, part of the original racism is that the grandfather was in the Olympics. He lost to Jesse Owens.
Okay.
That's pretty plain.
Yeah, which is, again, that's complete. But that's not what we're seeing.
Those were kind of the first two experiments by putting those brains into other people. Yeah, but that's not what
we're seeing, though. We're seeing that the father doesn't know what to say around the black guy.
He's saying everything overtly, almost scripted.
Okay.
He's saying everything overtly. If I'd vote for Obama the third time if I could.
Exactly. But that's an awkward thing to say. Your intention...
I wouldn't expect people not to say that.
But wait. The intent of this family is to lure in black individuals and to manipulate them. So why would you ever be awkward around them? Why would there be an awkward environment?
Because it is awkward. It's supposed to be awkward.
No, it's awkward because we believe it should be awkward. But in the context of the logic of what we have in front of us, it makes in no way it adds up that one person of that family acts perfectly around black people, enough to lure them over here. And then the family itself is like, I don't know what to say to you. Oh, Obama this. Hey, here's that. And it's like, okay, but why wouldn't you just act normal and this guy lets his guard down and then you can hypnotize him whatever the hell you want. And
Well,
you
that's
don't
dramatic tension throughout the
but
film. That's
right
the whole point
because
of dramatic
because the point it's trying to make is not the destination. The destination is far greater than the journey there. The way how that movie wrapped up and the revenge streak and killing people, like, that was awesome. That is the way you wanted to see that, and it delivered. But leading up to that, it's like this world that does not exist, not even in the logic of the movie.
It's Northern New York.
Because
exactly what Northern
because
New
you
York's
have
like.
to buy into that white people, especially affluent white people, have no idea how to act around black people, which is really weird. Because they usually are around black people a lot, and they employ them, and they give them positions. Like, we'll just say, like, from that party, those are affluent white people. They all own businesses. They have pipelines of revenue. They have streams of revenue, multiple. Okay, you know how to act around people. I'm sorry.
Well, how did this, like, okay, just as a story structure.
Yeah.
So this part broke for you in 30 minutes. In 30 minutes, you're like, I'm not buying the rest of this movie.
Yeah.
Because you texted me as you were watching the movie. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm not buying it. I'm out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? Just hold it. Like,
It's completely.
I never thought about it when I was watching it. I was like, I don't know. I'm in it.
Yeah, you're
Because I feel that's like, it's not that far removed if you're in the certain concept.
But that's the essence of being taken to school. I'm being told I should feel. Yeah, I'm being told that this is the
like
way.
you preaching to me that I shouldn't watch a movie, and if
But-
I watch the
but-
trailers and I get mad at it. It's the same exact
no.
thing.
Here's the thing: if I watch that movie, okay, and I believe what that movie says, I'm not talking about the hypnosis part. I'm not talking. We take the Twilight Zone part out of that movie, which is maybe 10 minutes of that entire movie.
That's the whole movie.
But
That's the
no,
whole
I'm talking
concept.
about
Is
what,
having
I'm
that
talking
the,
about
that
what
the grandparents are in the
yeah, but I'm talking
in
about
the
what
servants.
we see of it is about, like, it's a small part of that movie. Okay, the rest of the filler for that movie is if you text me and you're like, hey, I'm at a party, and you send me a picture of the party and there's black people at that party. If I'm listening to that movie, I'm gonna be like, oh my God, Mark's in trouble. He does not know how to act around black people. Hey, Mark, here's some reminders. Don't say this. That's a microaggression. People are gonna think you're no. I don't want you to embarrass yourself, Mark. You shouldn't even be there. You gotta leave. You don't know how to act around black people. And that's the point. But even with that to the side, and we'll even take taking me to school off the table. Taking me to school, we'll take that right off the table. The logic of that movie crumbles because we have a family that's targeting and luring in black people, and only one person in that family knows how to interact with a black person when the intent is to lure them in and to manipulate.
Right, but that's her keeping her safety zone in place. So then he is at the fence with her and saying, can we just please get out of here? Let's just get out of here.
Yeah, but why? It would never get to that point. Why?
It has to get to that
but
point.
wait,
Because
no.
that's the anchor.
No,
that's the island.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Okay?
They hang the lantern 100 times. in
No,
this
but
movie.
I'm asking you, just as, like taking the storyteller part out of the movie, because you got to invent things for things to happen.
Sure,
Like,
you gotta hang the lantern. You
you
gotta have the
so again,
the mulligan. You gotta go.
We take that out. We're done with all that. Okay. If you were doing what this family's doing, would you forcefully be awkward around your victim?
I think you. I think
It's a yes or a
if
no.
it's too because I think it's too suspicious if they're not awkward. I think that's the point.
I'm not talking about the context
She
of
doesn't
the story.
believe that's the awkward.
I'm not talking about the story. I'm talking about you. Would you do that?
I don't know.
Would you be like, hey, I'm breeding cats. I'm going to learn nothing about the nature of cats, and I'm going to start breeding them. No, you learn everything. You adapt.
Right, but they weren't believing in culture. They were just taking the complete surface value of that culture.
But if it's in fad and if it's
And then
something that
taking
they're
that.
obsessed with, they would.
They
be,
never wanted to change the culture.
Dude,
when they put it into that guy's body, it doesn't matter.
But the thing is, though, it's like when they're talking in the beginning, and he's like, "Hey, you never had a black boyfriend. Really? It should have been like, no, I had black boyfriends all the time. My parents are going to love you. And he gets there, and it's like an awesome party, and it's a great place. It's like, oh my God, I never want to leave here. And then it's like, bang, hypnosis. Okay? That makes 100 times more sense.
Yeah, but I think the social commentary. But see, the movie's working on multiple levels.
But it doesn't work with social commentary. And that's the
I
further
thought it
point.
completely worked with social commentary. That's why I liked it.
If you accept it.
Well, then I did.
But yeah, so guess what? You don't know how to act around black people. I don't know why you. I don't know why you even try. You can't relate. Okay, you're not what they call woke. You're not woke. You don't know how to relate. You microaggressions from you all the time. You don't know how to act around black people. I won't even say the word Obama around them. That's what that movie. That's the reality that movie portrays. You have no idea.
To who?
To you. I'm talking to you. I'm right there. I'm talking to him. You have no idea, buddy.
Sure, okay.
But even if, again, but that's off the table.
Okay.
Even in the context of the movie, they would not be awkward around black people because their objective is to lure them in.
I think the point of it is to just be... But that doesn't create... Okay, there's a couple things going on. There has to have dramatic tension. Mm-hmm. Okay, around the dinner table, the guy wants to wrestle him and saying you're physically superior. That character, the son character, is completely.
And I'll tell you
the
one
point
thing.
Of that.
I'm more okay with the son because he's over the top and he's purposely,
great.
Weird and comical. Okay, that's different than the subtleties that existed in the other ones. Like during the party.
The party,
everything
but the party
with
itself, with the party itself, with the comments that are stated, the every single comment that's made to them is not a non-truth. Saying, "Hey, I heard that blacks are bigger. I heard that they're better. That they're every truth is there." Saying that they have more muscle, that they run faster.
100%.
They have more muscle.
I agree.
But all they're doing is displaying facts in a different way. I find it. I don't know. I found it. I found it amazingly enchanting. I still have it on my top. It's in my top 5.
I think that movie would work so much better without the racial tones. Because it's a hell of a concept.
It wouldn't work at all without the racial tones.
Why? It's still just
because that's the point. Like because it plays on 100 audiences. That movie's completely revolutionary. It plays on a bunch of it plays differently to every single person.
It's not even close to revolutionary. Not even close.
I disagree completely.
Because
I feel that everyone had a different experience.
It's playing for low hanging fruit.
I have a different experience than a guy I work with named Rodney. We talked about it. We had a conversation about it, how he had a different experience in it.
Yeah, that's
because he's a black guy. It's a completely different experience for him to watch it. Say, hey, I was uncomfortable at this point. Yes, he's like yes. Now, like in this point, I couldn't laugh at it. Right? He's like yes.
Right. But the thing
is, even that was an uncomfortable conversation to have. But it was like he liked that movie. I like the movie on a completely different level.
But the thing is, though,
in a way, it's a unifier. It works.
Okay, so according to that movie, like something like any Eddie Murphy movie from the '80s should not even exist, and it doesn't.
No, they exist because I have Judge Reinhold for me to be with.
Judge Reinhold. But you follow. So here's the other thing.
But they do it in Eddie Murphy movies all the time.
No,
they'll have to make a reference.
Eddie movies are completely neutral, and they make fun of white people as much as they make fun of black people. They make fun of the world we live in.
All right, so what is your final determination? Let's just go flat out. You do not recommend.
It's garbage. The movie's trash.
How the fuck do you defend
the movie?
Like the Mummy and like Transformers 5 or whatever the fuck it is.
The Mummy is there to entertain.
It's boring.
And I'm there to be entertained.
I'm not going to see a movie because Tom Cruise wants to have a death wish and hang out either in a fucking zero-G plane or I'm bored at that. That's boring as fuck to me.
Yeah, okay. But so what? So you can accept one fake reality and get out.
I don't really know if it's a fake reality. I feel a lot of the racism stuff that's in there, it's there.
Okay.
Whether you deny it or want to deny it.
You're racist then. You have to, if you accept that, you have to admit right now that you're racist. You're a racist person. Because of these
it's not necessarily racist.
Because of
it's
these
realities that I've seen.
Microaggressions. No, because guess what?
I'm not the one rejecting. I'm the one discussing.
I run around all day saying inappropriate things. That doesn't mean I'm racist.
It would seem like it.
But the movie is not about people saying inappropriate things. The movie is about that these people are racist at the core, and they can't even help themselves when they're around black people.
But they're actually exploiting the race. Well, so they're not necessarily racist because they're
What, the hypnosis that they want their bodies?
No, yeah, they're exploiting the fad of it, the concept of it, that it's in vogue. They talk about it. They literally on the nose talk about it.
But that, like, so that was like one of the hooks I was looking for. I'm like, I was like, the hook could kind of change the way I'm looking at this, and the in vogue hook is completely lazy. It's one of the laziest hooks I've ever seen in a movie of this kind, because it does not even apply. It doesn't apply if you even take those pictures as time, and those pictures represent time, and you're like, oh, was it in vogue in the 60s?
No, they started
with the civil rights.
But no,
it was in vogue then?
They started it mainly. Maybe not even with black people. It was mainly just to continue.
They were breaking down the procedure. Okay?
Before the grandparents died.
Okay, but they were breaking down.
They transferred them.
Okay,
that's it.
But they were breaking down.
That was her friend in high school. It was her friend in college or whatever.
Yeah. But why? But why would they ever? Okay, so here's the other funny thing. Like, if we just we'll give you that. Okay, all right. So you are awkward around black people. You don't know how to act around black people. So you don't even understand black people, but you believe they're in vogue.
I'm talking about the movie's narrative.
No, I'm just that's me talking about the movie's narrative. You don't even know how to act around black people. Like, okay, mops are in vogue. I have no idea what it's like to be a mop. A mop is in vogue. We should turn ourselves into mops.
What's that mean? Oh, you mean an actual, like, physical mop?
Yeah. You can relate to this thing you're saying is in vogue.
I was looking at the movie's narrative.
That is in the narrative.
I'm saying that's in the narrative.
Okay. The narrative is that there's microaggressions because they do not understand how to act around black people. We can agree on that. Right?
Okay.
So why would that be in vogue to you? You cannot relate to it. It's alien to you. How could that possibly be in vogue? That's like me saying, hey, Mark, you want to buy a new car? And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, how about this four-wheel drive pickup truck? We're like, oh, I never drove one of those before, but I know they're maybe steady. I can throw things in the back. Okay, that's your new car. Would you never accept that? You never been in that car. You don't even understand that car. You just, here's an idea of it that you have.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
It's a superficial argument. It's what we would do anyway.
No.
Like the way the card looks. I want a Chevy. I want a Chevy Avalanche. You know why? I don't know. I like the way it looks.
I think yeah, but you're going to test drive it. You're going to understand the car before you buy it. You're going to understand that car before you buy it. Right.
Well, as far as I know, I'm not getting inside of another person's body. And
we're talking about a human swap, and you don't even understand that car. You don't understand the car that the black person represents.
Of the human swap is that's the whole point. Is that it's going to go to a certain level, and they're going to decide that they can't live in their body anymore. That's the point.
I get it. 100%.
It's immortal. It's the same exact argument. We want to live forever.
100%. But you know what they could have done? They could have went deeper in that. They could have been like, hey, we were swapping Asians at one point. Now we're swapping black people. We were swapping Hispanics at one point.
It could have been there.
It should have been there.
You had that one Asian guy there. I don't know what he was there for.
It was a responsibility for that to be there. Because otherwise what it implies is something that still does not exist, nor does it work in the logic of
I don't know.
Where we are. Yeah.
That movie is completely profitable. It's completely well received.
So was Split. Split had like a 900% profit margin.
Okay.
Yeah. It's okay.
I mean, I'm not saying that we're going to argue money on. I'm just saying that if a lot of what we talk about is success and success of narrative, and I think that's a successful narrative.
It's right, but it's a part of a world that and this is a part of a larger like scheme here. I call it a scheme because you're convinced. Because even now, because you're convinced that
the same guy that produced that movie produced what? Produced Split. You just talked about that movie. Split didn't have any narrative. Like there's no narrative concept in that.
No, it doesn't matter.
It's just money.
Well, business is blind. It doesn't know. It doesn't care. It doesn't. You know, it was an opportunity. If you go through the interviews and the way how they spoke about the movie, which I did, okay, yeah, it was a part of the sell of the movie.
Do you have what episode is your Get Out like?
It's on the shelf. It's unreleased.
You gotta release that before you release this.
It's unreleased.
It's unreleased.
Yeah, it's unreleased. But the thing is, though, white people getting quote unquote woke was a part of the sell and the language of that movie when they were on their junket.
Well, when I saw it day one, I didn't really know.
Okay.
I liked it
But
day one.
it wasn't targeted towards you because not everyone's like a film buff. The people that the people that pulled that movie out of the muck and made it into what it is are the people that believe the reality of that movie and that
I
were
don't know.
sold.
But see,
they were
I feel
sold
that
by
you
that
could,
advertising.
You could literally like it a couple different ways. I don't think you have to like the
Yeah.
full message in. You could have liked the fact that the guy who was the comedian, his best friend, was just funny.
Yeah,
That's
he
it.
was the best part of the movie. I think
You could literally just like it in
he's
general.
110% the best part of the
It's
movie.
not that much different than it literally is in the vein of Stepford Wives, Rosemary's Baby. It's arguably talked about.
No,
that those
because
are
there's
the
no
same.
social commentary in those movies.
There's complete social commentary. Stepford Wives is all about
right. There's some social
the socialization
commentary
of suburbia completely.
Well,
and just the multiplication of suburbia being exactly the same
okay, but
and interchangeable
okay,
and robots.
okay, but the thing is though, we can agree that, like it's not Stepford Wives is. It's not heavy with it. It's not preachy with it.
It's the whole ending's
okay,
it doesn't have to be
but-
preachy. It just is.
Okay, but
That's
this,
the entire
but this
concept
movie
of that
is
movie.
not like this movie. When it comes to filmmakers and choice, if you want to just go down there, because I don't think it really applies. If you go down filmmaking and choosing, like making choices and what to write and what not to write, what to include and what not to include, yeah, like you purposely made a type of movie that has a point that wants to say this, and here's the thing: if people weren't convinced that this stuff is like happening or real, cause of like things like Ferguson and the beginning of the movie invokes Trayvon Martin. Okay, if people didn't believe the false narratives of those realities, okay, that it wouldn't resonate. It plays right into this guilt, these lies. It plays right into it. Okay, if you took that stuff out of the movie does not even hold up. It has a great concept. I'll give it that. It's well made. I'll give it that. It has some of the stupidest jump scares I've ever seen. Okay, but it's still like a well constructed movie. It has notes and beats and builds and has a crescendo and has a satisfying. The alternate ending again like is bad compared to what I thought they had the right ending if they chose the two endings. Okay, but at the end of the day, like you made choices to portray something a certain way, and you have to hold the filmmaker's feet to the fire even on that. Like you chose to take a position, and you know what it is. If this movie didn't have a heavy tone Twilight Zone or fantasy element, it would have went the same way that Detroit went. Detroit came out, okay, the Catherine Bigelow movie, and took an incident in a larger act that was 3 days long, that was deep and complicated, and it took just one thing, which was kind of proven to be true. Like there were shots fired at police officers at this one hotel. It is proven. Bad things happen, yes, because we're dealing with chaos now. We're dealing with a 3-day long riot, okay? But it took that one moment and decided to give that movie a voice on that to play into a reality that does not exist, okay? And it didn't go into the history, and it didn't go to any of the background. And because that movie ignored that and just went into one direction, it failed. It's failed because even when people watch it, they may not, in their bones, they know it doesn't exist. Get Out's only salvation was the Twilight Zone hook, which is a great part of that movie. But I'll sacrifice that for the other crap. I don't need to see it. I don't need to be told that. What the frick? Like, I live in Philadelphia. Like, I live in fucking Philly. Okay? Trust me. White people know how to act around black people all the time. This city wouldn't exist otherwise. We wouldn't be here otherwise. So, in my reality, but guess what? You grew up same as me. And you know those things in that movie aren't true. Because you grew up in a mixed neighborhood.
Yeah, but I don't live in New York City. I don't live like in that. They're talking about New York, Connecticut. That's what they're doing. 1-2.
Okay. Like it's an hour away. There's people are here. There's people are where we grew up. There's people are in South Jersey. It's an hour away. We're not talking about like an ocean. We're not talking about England or anywhere.
So that robbed all your entertainment out of the movie.
Because it immediately began as a reality I know that doesn't exist, and it evokes a hot topic like incident that is grossly misportrayed through media, grossly misportrayed. The Trayvon Martin, okay, when like even you have Obama saying if I had a son he would look like Trayvon Martin. It's like what the that's a weird stupid thing that what the hell is that? That's there to evoke emotion. That's why you say that. A standing president said that. Okay, evoked emotion. Like that is okay. If people want to criticize Trump, you criticize that too. You gotta be like somewhat like equal with some of that. But no, we're in the world where it's okay for one side to say it and the other side not. Like we're confused about Confederate statues. We're not smashing the General Lee, but we're ripping down Robert E. Lee. We're very confused right now. Movies like this play into it and they make it worse. And that's what I saw. I saw this just makes the whole conversation worse. And doesn't even have good ideas. It'd be totally different. There was some salvation. Like they were awkward around black people, but then again, there was some salvation at the end of that. But there's none of it. It doesn't even try and redeem itself. Even at the end. It would be totally different if like cop cars came up at the end and they took the side of the black dude over the girl. Then you're like, fuck, yes. Yes, that's the ending I needed to see. But no, we don't get that. I like the black guy. I got more of him at the end. But that's like his friend. Like because his friend kept reminding me of what's his name from the first Michael Bay Transformers when they're getting interrogated and he's like, I ate all the donuts because they're like, if you're guilty, you don't eat the donuts. I ate them all. And then he has like the sugar rush. Like, yeah, I love that dude. I don't know who he is. But but that's.
I don't know, man. I understand what you're saying, but I can't take it out of my like top 5.
And a little bit where I snapped. You told me that movie was not preachy, and you told me that movie did not.
I didn't think it
would not take me to school.
I think you're ready to be taken to school, so you immediately reject it. Just as when I see a movie that it goes in a different direction that I don't expect it to go to, I'm like, fuck this shit. Like I get mad. I'm like, you know, when Rogue One hit a certain point, I'm like, you know what? I'm out.
Okay, so we're talking Night Owl and Rorschach. Okay? The principled person with the red line versus a person who's not principled without the red line. That would be Al. Mm-hmm. Okay? The Al can't bang.
Which one's which? Am I Rorschach?
No, you're Al.
That's fine.
You're Al.
It's a little bit more rational, so I'll take it.
Okay. I literally watch the Watchmen movie for the moment that Dr. Manhattan kills him because he's unwavering. Okay? And if there is something today that even right now that comes out of this episode, there is nothing wrong with having a red line and being principled and standing to it. But you have to understand those principles. Those are principles you have to find for yourself. They can't be dictated. You get notes from them all over the place. You can't be told, but you have to discover those principles for yourself. Okay? And it's very important. Okay? Because, look, I'm not taking anything out of that movie other than what I view as the logical missteps of one character being perfect around black people purposely to lure them in, and then to further the gimmick, you have a whole other, like, you have 30 other people that never know. I mean, even the woman with the guy from the beginning, like, you know, that had, like, the husband, okay? Like, she didn't know, she has one. She has a black husband now, and she still doesn't know how to act around black people. It's stupid.
Because they're adopting that culture completely. He was dressed completely like a 60-year-old man.
Yeah, and it takes, and through years and years and years and years of this practice, they figured out how to swap brains, but they can't figure this out. You can swap a brain, but you don't understand how to act around your victim.
I think they're shopping. They're auctioning.
Yeah, I thought that scene was good, the auction scene, where it's silent.
I think that's silent, but then I also think that the whole point of that, with him being on the bench over there explaining it with the only trust value is her. He's like, let's get out of here. I don't want to do this. Let's go. Yeah. And the entire negotiation is completely there. Stephen Root's excellent. I feel that everything is excellent. I don't know, man. I can't. I understand. I feel like it's completely well constructed. I feel like I went for the ride. I continued the ride. I saw it twice in the movies.
Ride the lightning.
Twice. I'm riding the lightning. I'm in it.
Ride the lightning.
I'm in it. I'm still in it, and I think it's full writer director. I'm full auteur.
Yeah.
As I explained.
Hey,
I explain every episode. I'm in.
Let's just appreciate this real quick. It's 8:00. Mm-hmm. We're 90 minutes in, which is good for us.
Yep, and we got another episode.
And we're done. We're kind of done.
We're done with the argument.
Well, I think we're done. We said it all.
But we got another episode. We got to do another.
Right, but I mean, like, we're done with this. We're done. I'm proud of us. It's 8:00 at night on a Sunday, and we're not droning on. We're becoming.
Arguable if we're droning on.
We're becoming professional. I think we had good waves in this. But look, hey, let's just sign off. We got other things to talk about.
I'm going to get more beer.
Yeah, I got to pee too.
And then episode 50, whatever.
It will be 52.
52, right back.
Big rollout this week. We're going to have a big Dream Warriors rollout.
50.1.
Now I'm debating on what to do with those ones that are like fired up.
Boom.
You
every day.
Like,
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Do you think I should do a 50 point of my Get Out initial reaction? You know, I recorded that when I was sick. I didn't have I might have a fever, but I
more phlegm, just slightly more phlegm.
But so I should release that before.
I would say release that before this.
Okay.
I didn't hear that, so it'd be interesting to hear that. Then we'll have like a 53. I'll be like,
because
I still don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because
I'm still gonna go into that.
Yeah, because between me seeing it, like when I send you those text messages to now, you know, I've had the same exact conversation with a lot of people,
and they all disagreed with you, like me.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 tennis can't be wrong. Sign it off.
Okay. Talk to you later.